Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the 6th day of bookmas. So for today's video, I thought it would be fun to do a little tag. When I was researching ideas for videos that I wanted to do for this little series, I came across a tag which I'm gonna obviously link the original down below. So I thought this tag was really fun. It's basically just taking some classic Christmas songs and making prompts out of that. So I've tried my best to stick within this year of like what books I've read this year and pick books from that. However, there is one singular exception, I think. So let's just get straight into this tag. The first song is You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and the prompt is to name a villainous character who you couldn't help but love. This is the one where I just could not think of a character from a book that I read this year. However, there was one book that I did think of and a character from that book that I thought that a lot of people could relate to this. And it's not because I necessarily love this character, but I really appreciate the character and the way that it's built up and kind of what it represents, I guess, to a certain extent. So that character is going to be Joe Goldberg from You. When I first read this book, I did not love Joe. I didn't really have any feelings towards him. I think, as you can imagine, he's a stalker, he's a very disturbing character. I didn't like him. I don't think that Joe in the book is the charismatic character that I'm actually thinking of. Quite frankly, I don't think it's the book that does that, so this is kind of outside of the realm of reading. What I've come to understand about Joe as a character through watching the series You on Netflix has broadened my understanding and my appreciation for the character. So I don't think it's necessarily the book character that I love, and I would not say that I love the character. I just think it's a really cool character and it kind of questions a lot of things about society and a lot of things about the way that we like our fascination of like really macabre things. Seeing the way that Penn Badgley has portrayed Joe and just made him into this really charismatic character, I think that there was definitely that kind of element of it in the book, but I didn't really pick up on it as much as I do in the series. People thirst over Joe. Like since the series, people have like been seriously obsessed with him, and I'm not obsessed with him, but I think the character is really interesting. A similar thing has been happening with Love. Like they're both really messed up characters and people really love them. So that's why I picked Joe. The next song is All I Want for Christmas Is You. The prompt is which book do you most hope to see under your Christmas tree? I've picked 3 books for this. The first one is The Love Hypothesis. Need I say more? I don't think so. The second one is a box set of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians books by Rick Riordan. The third one is My Heart's a Chainsaw, just for the premise. This is by Stephen Graham Jones. If you want to learn a little bit more about these books, then I did actually mention them in my Christmas wishlist video, which I uploaded a few days ago, so be sure to go check that out if you haven't already. The third song is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and the prompt is to name a character that overcomes major obstacles and learns to believe in themselves. The character I'm going to go for this prompt is Nora from The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. When I read this book in August, I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with the main character. I fell in love with her 2 like side characters. I just thought this was such a brilliant book, and I think the character of Nora is so brilliant as well. She's just been through a lot of shit throughout her life and is trying to deal with that and trying to get past it, at the same time obviously dealing with normal sort of teenage stuff. And then she gets in this situation where she's basically like in the middle of the bank heist. She's trapped, and she's also trapped with her now girlfriend and her ex-boyfriend, and it's kind of awkward. So in the actual plot, she overcomes obstacles because like she's trying to get out of this situation. She's very smart and like uses that to kind of figure out how to best get out of this situation without hurting anyone. And I just think she's a great character, and it was really a pleasure to read this story. This next song has actually got 2 prompts connected to it, and that song is Santa Claus is Coming to Town. The first prompt is to name a character who would be on the top of the naughty list, and the second one is to name a character who would be on the top of the nice list. On the top of the naughty list, Sel from Legendborn. He is in Legendborn, so bearing in mind this is when he is like, what, 19 or 20 or something like that. He is quite sullen, he's quite moody, quite broody, you know, dark, mysterious, all that stuff. Kind of gives me the vibes of like, as a kid, I think he would have been very naughty and mischievous and just running around and like you know, messing things up and doing like little naughty things, and I could just imagine him on the top of the naughty list. Like, I just feel like a little child version of him would be so mischievous. I also just really like the character of Cell, and I think that deep down, even though he is quite like moody in the book, he definitely has like a mischievous side to him, and I think that hopefully in the second book in the series that's going to be brought out of him, because I feel like he's a very fun character and I really want to see that for him. The character who I think would be at the top of the nice list is Jacob from Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and I think the reason that he would be at the top of the nice list is very much to do with the fact that he strikes me as someone who is very orderly, likes things to be like tidy and like in their place and just done the way that they're supposed to be. I feel like he would, as a kid, have been really good at following rules. In terms of like the way that adults would have perceived him as a kid, I think they would have thought he was a very well-behaved child, and therefore he would be at the top of the nice list. I also just think he's a very nice character. The next character is for Frosty the Snowman, and the prompt is a book that just melts your heart. One book that I remember just making me like have those kind of feelings of, it was more so melancholy, but it was also melting my heart to a certain extent, and that was The Invisible Life of Addy Larue. There's just some stuff that happens in this book which is like, just feels very pure, and I feel like what I got from reading that book is kind of the sentiment of just like living life to the fullest. Like, no matter how long you have to live, just trying to take everything out of life as you possibly can, trying to make connections. It kind of brings across the point of how important it is to have connections with other humans, and I think that's a very heartwarming sentiment. The next song is Phillipe Navidad. The first time that I heard this song, which was probably in Spanish class or something like that, I bloody love it. It's so fun. It's one of those Christmas songs that just is pure fun. English speakers, we love to like sing in languages that we don't know. The prompt for that is to choose a book that takes place in a country other than your own. This is pretty easy. I decided to go for a book that's set in a country that isn't even in the same continent as me, just to really spice it up a bit. Again, I could have said America. I'm gonna go for like the other side of the world. Not set in the Western world is basically what I'm going for. And I also chose this book because I really love it, and I just want to, towards the end of the year, just to like throw it out as many times as I can. Battle Royale by Koshin Takami. It's bloody fantastic. It's got Hunger Games vibes, but it's even more brutal. It's violent. Things happen, there's a lot of gore, there's a lot of like emotions as well, because it's basically about a group of school kids that have to murder each other. If you like Squid Games and you kind of want Squid Games but like think kids instead of adults, then this is definitely something that you would like. And this is set in, I believe, in Japan. My tea went cold. The next song is It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. So the prompt for this song is, which holiday themed book do you use to spread the Christmas joy? This is actually, I lied when I said there was only one book where I took it from another year. I didn't read this book this year. What I can remember, I've read like 2 Christmas themed books. I went with the murder mystery because I think murder and Christmas, just, you know, like there's nothing to spread the Christmas joy like someone dying. To counteract the whole like dying thing, it does say tyrannical. It's a tyrannical man that gets killed, so it kind of counteracts the whole, like that is kind of spreading joy, right, when a tyrannical man gets killed. This is Hercule Poirot's Christmas by Agatha Christie. I really didn't have a lot of choices for this, so I literally just went with the one that was the better of two evils, really. Nothing else to say about that. The next song is Sleigh Ride. Which fictional character would you choose to spend the holidays with? It's actually multiple characters, but I just thought, you know what, it's fine. So basically, I'm just gonna say the Brown sisters from the Brown Sisters trilogy. All 3 of them, plus their love interests, plus their mum and dad, and Gigi and her girlfriend. And I just feel like this whole family, they would have such a great time at Christmas. I feel like it would be loud, it would just be really fun. I feel like they'd play some great Christmas games. I feel like they would all just sing along to the Christmas music. They'd watch some great films. And I was actually talking to my friend Sarah about how amazing it would be if Talia Hibbert wrote a Brown Sisters like Christmas themed book. And I was like, it'd be so cool. Like, just think about it. They go on holiday, they're like at a ski resort kind of thing. They're in like a nice cabin. It's all decorated Christmassy. Like, you've got the roaring fire, everything like that. And then like Eve would for sure break her leg within the first couple of days because she's just a klutz. I'm gonna insert myself into the story. Eve has just broken her legs because she's a klutz. And she's like, oh no, now I can't go skiing, but I'm gonna have to sit and like be bored by myself. And I'll be like, don't you worry, I don't even want to go skiing either because I'm scared that I'm gonna break my legs because I am a klutz and I'm just scared of everything. And then I would sit with her and we would sit by the fire and we'd be like chatting about things. I've really thought about this, and that was before I did this, like before I started preparing for this tag. The next song is Baby It's Cold Outside. The prompt is, which book that you didn't like would you sacrifice to a fire to warm yourself up in the cold? At first I wasn't quite sure, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks. The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared. It's such a shit book. I'm sorry to anyone that likes that book. It's so boring. It is basically just a rip-off of Forrest Gump, but like instead of having lovable Forrest Gump, like who everyone loves, instead of having him as the main character, it's just like this like weird old man that no one gives a shit about, and then it's basically just him thinking back on like what he's done throughout his life and whatever, and it's just really, it's really far-fetched and really like weird, but not even in a fun way. I would happily burn it. Even though it is sacrilegious, I would literally burn it if I needed to. The final song is Do You Hear What I Hear? The prompt is, what is a book that you think everyone should read? And I've got a couple of answers for this. The first book that is going to be the one that I'm going to focus on is a book that I think everyone should read because I think it's a very, very important book. It is also a very good book. It's very well written and I very much enjoyed reading it despite the fact that it deals with a very tough topic. And that is In the Dream House by Carmen Machado. This is basically talking about Carmen Machado's experience of being in an abusive gay relationship. First of all, like I think abuse in relationships isn't talked about in the way that it should be. Like it isn't talked about enough in general. And then adding the element of it being a gay relationship is really important as well because people tend to overlook that like that is an issue as well, and I think it's because people struggle to have this like intersectionality of things kind of coming together. It's like either you're talking about abuse or you're talking about gay rights and gay marriage and blah blah blah. I also believe Carmen Machado is a woman of color, so again we're adding that element, and I just think it is in so many ways it is such an important book. I think that anyone that is able to read this should, because I think it's very important. This next one I'm mentioning purely because it's one of my favorites of the year. I bloody love it and I will be shoving it down everyone's throats as much as possible, even though it's already being churned out. Like this book is being recommended by everyone anyway. I'm just gonna add to that. Evelyn Hugo, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book is brilliant. It also brings up a lot of topics that are important to talk about, so there's that added element, but just the fact that it is so bloody good. Those were the 10 questions for this tag. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to stick around for more of these videos, then you are more than welcome to hit the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. And as I said, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one.